So what's up? How you doing today? Welcome to the second installment of Beyond the Melody. We're going to take a look at Scarlet Begonias and get away from the melody and look at some note choices that we can use to solo over this tune. There's two solo sections of this. Usually it's the verse and the kind of open-ended part over a B chord at the end of the tune, the jam part. We're going to focus on just the verse and get into the changes and all that stuff. So we're going to look at three different ways we can think about playing over these changes that don't have anything to do with the melody. Then we're going to put that all together in another video later. But for now, let's dive into it. At the end, we do have a practice backing track, I should say, to practice all this stuff. But let's check out number one. So the first thing is knowing what key it's in. So the chords are E, B, a couple times, right? And then A, E, B, stuff like that. It's just, those three chords, A, E, B, right? So you might be thinking, oh, it's the key of E. And you'd be right. It is the key of E, but it's also, you could say A-Lydian, it's a weird, weird one, B mixolydian, all three, however you want to organize this in your head for what mode to use, they're all legit. But the way I would think of it is B mixolydian because it focuses on that B so much, even though the verse starts on the E right away. But you tell me, what sounds more like a restful chord? And it's like this, or that one. To me, it's this one. As the song kind of keeps pulling back to that B, hitting that a lot. That's where it ends up jamming on the B and everything. So I think of it as B mixolydian, same notes as E. However you want to think of it, go with that. But first thing is we've got all those notes to work with. And let's just give a little quick listen to me playing over the backing track using just B mixolydian notes, or E again, however you want to think of it. But I'm going to just play up and down the scale and never play a big leap, like leaping from, beyond a scale step, just up and down it. And to know that, okay, you can get it, you can make it sound good. We don't need to know all the chord tones, this and that, which we're going to look at in a second. But you don't need that to actually make it sound like you're playing with the song. You can just run up and down the scale. It's just a matter of how you do it and using your ear. But let's just give a quick listen and see how it sounds. And then we'll break down the next part. So you can see how that still totally works. So don't think that we need to do fancy, smanchy stuff. We can just use the mode. Although we want to get away from just the mode at the same time, and we don't want to sound like we're kind of just noodling, randomly. So another thing we can do is play along with the changes. And one easy way is to play something I call the U scale. This major pentatonic scale over just the E chord. We'll do it just for the E for right now because when it gets to the other part with the A, E, B, it changes pretty quick, and we don't want to be thinking about things too hard. So over that E, hangs on that for a little bit, we could use E major pentatonic. We could use this one right here, the most popular shape. But how about a little bit of a mix of some different spots, a thing I call the U shape, but let's give it a listen first in context, and then I'll break down exactly what this is and how I'm using it. So the U shape is basically just taking this spot right here, but instead of having this kind of more awkward spot that just doesn't fit in our fingers, whether we're stretching or we're using the pinky, I just over the years would be playing this shape a lot without even realizing it. And then one day I was like, oh, I'm really doing this a lot. I'm kind of making up my own little pattern here. And then I thought, what would be a good name for it? I thought, well, it's almost a perfect U shape. If you took away this note right here, it would be a perfect U. So it's a little lopsided. It's not completely symmetrical, but it looks like a U. Shaped around, so I thought, that's good enough. It's good enough for me. I can remember that pretty easily. And I just use it because it just allows me to use my strong fingers, and it keeps everything to this 2-fret shape. And I think they sound really nice too. When you play like, they're called double stops, 2 notes at a time, and also just like leaping around and stuff. And you may notice, okay, this note right here, same note, so it's not a perfect pattern. You're going up, and then you repeat that note there, but if you're playing straight up, it sounds a little funny to do that. But if you're kind of playing in context, you can always skip this one, slide up to here, slide back, and it's really good for sliding, hammer-ons, pull-offs, things like that. You can kind of work around that so it doesn't sound like you're playing the same note twice, which even if you are, it's not a big deal, whatever, and that's it. So it's a good way to just think about when you get to the E chord, or actually say when you start on the E chord, starts right there, just play that pentatonic, and this way we don't have to switch positions, although that's not necessarily a bad thing to do, but we'll keep it simple. You can stay right around here, and then when you get back to the B, you can just go back to that mixolydian, so. Oops, yeah. That's it. So the third thing now, the real good stuff, is playing the chord tones. So I'm gonna play through the whole thing, just playing super simple chord tones, nothing fancy at all, and what you could call a guide tones, right? So they're guiding us, creating a melody, even though it's as pretty much simple as you could get. And I'm gonna play through that first, and then I'm gonna play through using the overall mixolydian, playing around those guide tones. And then I'm gonna do it for the other part with the A, E, B, same thing, and then play around it so you can see, you can really get clearer that guide tones. I'm gonna set up first and then playing around. So let's check it out first, and then we'll break down how we do it. So we've got all these chord tones here mapped out, got them all right there, but it's a little overwhelming to be like, okay, well, I got it all, how do I do it? First thing to do is just find one in the chord that you like. So what I did is I picked for the E right here, that's the 3rd of E, and then I went down to the 5th of B. So the 3rd of E, 5th of B, and that's it. And we could have continued it, I could have continued that line, and then the root of E, then the 3rd of B or something, but real simple, just the same thing again, repeated it, and then playing around it. So but I'm really hearing and targeting those 2 notes in my head as I'm doing this, and they don't have to always fall right on beat 1 or something, but as long as they're in there and you're especially kind of focusing on it a little longer or something, or hitting it more than once, it'll really bring out that underlying simple melody that you're creating, And then the next part gets even more interesting, is over the A. I'm picking this one right here, so I'm picking the root of A, and then I'm going to that 3rd again of E, and then the 5th again of B, and then just doing that, and then hangs in the E twice long, does it all again. And then it resolves down to the B. And that's it. So those are 3 tips that'll hopefully give a little more shape to your solos and things like that. And then in the next video, we're gonna put it all together with the melody, this stuff, a little more, and work on putting it in a good structured form. So we get out of kind of a noodling sound, and we can get a little more exciting solos that get people engaged and want to like hear it to the end, you know. So try it out with the practice backing track. Try out all these ideas and try it on your own. And if you're interested in getting the PDF for this stuff, so you don't have to keep coming back to the videos, and you got it all right there. I've got this and a whole lot more on my Patreon page. I'll leave the link in the description down below. But a lot of people find it very useful to have the PDFs that you can download to your phone or your tablet or whatever you've got. Print it out if you want, take notes. Makes it a whole lot easier. And hopefully that helps. And I'll see you in the next video.